When a woman goes no contact, it can feel like your whole world has been flipped upside down. One day, she's talking to you, laughing with you, showing interest and affection, and the next day, complete silence. No calls, no texts, no likes on your posts, nothing. It feels cold, confusing, and even painful. Your mind starts racing with questions. What happened? Did I do something wrong? Is she seeing someone else? Did she stop caring about me completely? Before you spiral into panic or rush to make a move, pause and breathe. Her silence is not always what it seems. Most men make the mistake of reacting impulsively, assuming the worst, and trying to fix the situation immediately. But the truth is, there are different reasons a woman may go no contact. And until you understand her psychology, you won't know how to respond correctly. If you misread the situation, you risk making it worse, sometimes permanently. The first thing you must understand is this: her silence is a message in itself. Women are emotional communicators. When they stop talking, it's rarely random. Her silence is not an accident. It's intentional. She's either expressing hurt, testing your commitment, protecting herself, or trying to gain control over the dynamic between you. The key is figuring out which one it is. One common reason she may go no contact is to test your reaction. Women do this to measure your emotional strength. She wants to see how you handle uncertainty and whether you'll stay grounded or crumble under pressure. If you panic, blow up her phone, or beg for her attention, you fail the test. In her mind, that proves you're not as confident and stable as you may have seemed before. But if you stay calm, patient, and in control, she begins to see you as a man who doesn't rely on her validation to feel secure, and that is very attractive. The second possibility is that she's protecting herself. Maybe you hurt her feelings, whether intentionally or not. Maybe there was an argument, a betrayal, or simply a buildup of frustration that she didn't know how to express verbally. For many women, silence is a way to process emotions and create space to heal. In this case, her no contact isn't about testing you or punishing you. It's about survival. She needs time to figure out what she truly feels and what she wants moving forward. This is why rushing in to solve everything too quickly can backfire. If she's in emotional protection mode and you overwhelm her with calls or messages, it can feel like an attack rather than comfort. Giving her space here shows maturity and respect for her boundaries, and it also gives her the chance to miss you naturally. The third reason she might go no contact is to gain control. Relationships have a natural balance of power. If she feels like you've been distant, unavailable, or less invested lately, she might try to shift the dynamic by pulling away herself. Her silence is meant to trigger you into chasing her, proving your feelings, and re-establishing her position of influence in the relationship. This is where most men lose all their leverage. The moment you start over, texting, calling nonstop, or showing desperation, you hand her complete control. She now knows you'll do anything to get her back, which can lead to manipulation, whether she realizes it or not. By staying composed and not reacting, you subtly communicate, I value you, but I'm not dependent on you. I won't chase. Here's the most important thing to remember: don't assume. Observe, instead of reacting blindly. Take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What were your last few interactions like before she went silent? Were there arguments, signs of distance, or moments of emotional tension? Did she seem hurt, jealous, or insecure about something? Context is everything. Her silence is a puzzle piece, and when you calmly analyze the situation, you'll see patterns that reveal her true motive. This clarity gives you the power to respond in a way that strengthens your position rather than weakens it. The worst thing you can do right now is rush in fueled by fear. The best thing you can do is slow down, observe carefully, understand what her silence is really saying. When you know that why behind her no contact, you'll know exactly what to do, and just as importantly, what not to do. When she goes silent and completely cuts off communication, your natural instinct will be to chase after her. This is a deeply human reaction, Especially if you care about her and feel the connection slipping away. You'll feel an overwhelming urge to fix things immediately, to call her, to text her, to explain yourself, or to try to get answers. Your mind will start racing with questions like, what if she's moving on? What if she forgets about me? What if I lose her forever? This emotional panic is exactly what you need to fight against, because it is the single biggest mistake most men make when a woman goes no contact. Chasing her, blowing up her phone, showing desperation, all of these things only push her further away. If she went silent to test you, your chasing proves her suspicions correct, that you lack control and emotional strength. If she went silent to protect herself, your pressure makes her feel unsafe and overwhelmed. If she went silent to gain power, your chasing hands her total control over the relationship dynamic. In every scenario, chasing is the wrong move. Instead, you must focus on controlling yourself first, because your emotional response determines whether you come across as strong and composed or needy and unstable. The first step to controlling yourself is understanding the psychology of why you want to chase in the first place. When someone you care about suddenly withdraws, your brain perceives it as a threat. This triggers anxiety and fear, the same primal response humans have felt for thousands of years when faced with abandonment or rejection. It's not just about her, it's about your survival instincts kicking in. This is why you feel a physical urge to act immediately. Your mind starts telling you, if I don't do something now, I'll lose her forever. But this is an illusion created by fear. Acting in a state of fear almost always leads to bad decisions, especially in relationships. When you react emotionally, you stop thinking logically. You start typing long, emotional messages, calling repeatedly, or even showing up uninvited, all things that scream insecurity and desperation. Instead of letting fear drive you, pause and create space between your feelings and your actions. Remind yourself silence is not an emergency. She didn't disappear off the face of the earth, and you don't need to fix this in the next 5 minutes. Giving yourself time to breathe allows you to think rationally about your next move. Here's what most men don't realize: the moment you chase, you lose all leverage. Relationships are built on mutual respect and attraction. When one person starts begging, pleading, or over pursuing, the other person automatically shifts into a position of power. Think about it. If she knows you're constantly available and ready to do anything just to get her back, there's no mystery, no challenge, and no reason for her to value your presence. Attraction thrives on balance. By chasing her when she's gone silent, you're tipping the scales completely in her favor. You might think your efforts are showing love and dedication, but in reality, they often come across as neediness and weakness. The more you chase, the less she respects you, and the less urgency she feels to come back. The strongest move you can make right now is to do nothing, at least outwardly. This doesn't mean you ignore your feelings or pretend you don't care. It means you channel that energy inward instead of outward. Instead of sending her 10 texts, go to the gym and work out. Instead of checking her social media every 5 minutes, focus on a project or hobby that builds your confidence. By taking your focus off her and back onto yourself, you regain control of your emotional state. You begin to show through your actions and even your silence that you are a man who values himself even when someone else withdraws. Think about how powerful this shift is from her perspective. If she expected you to chase, your calmness will confuse and intrigue her. If she pulled away to test you, your restraint proves your strength. If she went silent to gain control, your lack of chasing shows her that she doesn't hold the power she thought she did. When you refuse to chase, you create a vacuum, and human nature hates a vacuum. Eventually, she will begin to wonder what you're doing, why you haven't reached out, and whether you've moved on. That curiosity plants the seed for her to take action and reach out to you instead. Remember this truth: you cannot control her silence, but you can control your reaction to it. By staying composed and not giving in to the impulse to chase, you send a clear, unspoken message. I am in control of myself. I am not afraid of losing you. I am focused on my life. That kind of quiet strength is incredibly attractive. It shows her that you're a man worth respecting and valuing. And when she finally does come back, it won't be because you chased her. It will be because she chose to return to a man who stood strong in the face of uncertainty. When a woman goes no contact, the first thing she expects is for you to break down and chase her. She's prepared for the texts, the calls, the late night messages saying, please, let's talk, or I can't lose you. Whether she went silent to test you, protect herself, or gain control, she is almost certain that you will react exactly as she predicted by running after her. But here's where you have the power to completely flip the script. Instead of giving her what she expects, you give her the opposite. You disappear completely. You go silent. You create a void, an empty space where your presence used to be. And you do it not out of anger or revenge, but out of strength and strategy. Because here's the truth: absence is far more powerful than words. You don't need to explain yourself, argue your point, or convince her of anything. When you remove your presence, you let her imagination do all the work. And trust me, a woman's imagination is far more powerful than any speech you could ever give. At first, she may feel confident about her decision to go no contact. She might think, God, he'll finally realize how much he needs me. He'll come crawling back. But when that call never comes, when those desperate texts never arrive, when she checks her phone and there's nothing from you, that's when her mind starts to race. Why hasn't he reached out? Does he not care anymore? Did he move on that quickly? Is there someone else? These questions start to create uncertainty, and uncertainty is the birthplace of desire. When she can't predict your behavior, she becomes curious. That curiosity slowly grows into worry. That worry eventually turns into fear, fear of losing you completely. Here's why this works so effectively. Women are emotional creatures, and emotions thrive on contrast. When you're always available, always reaching out, always expressing your feelings, she knows exactly where you stand. There's no mystery, no tension, no excitement. But when you suddenly step back and let silence speak for you, it creates a powerful contrast. She goes from being certain of your feelings to questioning everything. She goes from feeling secure and in control to feeling vulnerable and unsure. This emotional shift is what makes her start thinking about you constantly, even if she doesn't want to. Making her feel your absence isn't just about staying silent. It's also about living fully in your silence. You don't just disappear and sit in a dark room waiting for her to notice. No, you disappear and start living the best version of your life. Go to the gym, spend time with friends, dive into your work or personal goals. Post pictures of you enjoying life, not to make her jealous, to show the world, S and her, if she's watching, that you are thriving. This creates a second layer of intrigue. Now she's not only wondering why you haven't reached out, she's also seeing evidence that you're happy and doing well without her. That combination of silence and visible growth is incredibly powerful. It forces her to question whether she made the right decision by pulling away. Think of it like this: when you take something valuable away, people notice its absence more than its presence. Imagine if you always heard the same song playing in the background every day. After a while, you stop paying attention to it. But the moment the song stops, you notice the silence immediately. That's exactly how relationships work. When you're constantly present, she may start to take you for granted, but when you pull back completely, the sudden silence makes her realize how much space you truly occupied in her life. Here's the key: don't announce your absence. Embody it. Don't say things like, fine, I won't bother you anymore, or I guess you don't care. So I'll stop texting. That ruins the effect by showing that your silence is just another form of communication. Instead, simply vanish without explanation. The less you say, the more powerful your absence becomes. She will fill in the blanks herself, and her imagination will always make the situation more dramatic than reality. When she feels your absence deeply, something shifts inside her. She begins to realize that you are not a man who can be easily replaced or taken for granted. She starts to miss you not just because of who you were to her, but because of the stability, attention, and emotional connection you provided. When she finally feels that ache of missing you, she will be the one to break the silence. Not because you begged her to, but because she can't stand the emptiness your absence created. Remember this, you don't need to force her back into your life. You just need to create a space so vast and so silent that she chooses to return on her own. When a woman goes no contact, it can feel like your entire world has been put on pause. Suddenly, the texts stop, the calls stop, and you're left with nothing but silence. Most men waste this time by waiting around, checking their phones every 5 minutes, replaying past conversations in their heads, drowning in anxiety about what she's doing or who she's with. But here's a hard truth you must accept. If you spend this time obsessing over her, you will lose both her and yourself. Instead, you must flip the script completely while she's silent. You don't wait, you work. You don't just sit in the darkness hoping she'll come back. You shine so brightly that when she does return, she sees a completely transformed man standing before her. This period of no contact is not a punishment. It's an opportunity, a chance to rebuild yourself and your life so that you emerge stronger, more confident, and more valuable than before. Because here's the truth, attraction isn't static. People either grow toward each other or grow apart. By building your value during this time, you ensure that if she comes back, she finds a man she deeply respects. And if she doesn't, you've still elevated yourself. The first area to focus on is your physical health. Physical appearance may not be everything, but it matters, especially when it comes to attraction and self-confidence. If you've been neglecting your body, now is the perfect time to change that. Hit the gym consistently, improve your diet, start dressing better and paying attention to grooming. Here's why this is powerful. When she sees you looking healthier, fitter, and more attractive, it sends a silent message that you are moving forward with or without her. Even if she doesn't see you right away, you will feel the difference internally. A strong, healthy body builds mental strength. And when you carry yourself like a man who values himself, everyone around you feels it, including her. The second area to focus on is your mindset. During no contact, your thoughts can become your worst enemy. If you let fear and insecurity take over, you'll spiral into negativity. Instead, use this time to retrain your mind. Read books that challenge and inspire you. Listen to motivational content. Surround yourself with people who push you to grow. Meditation or journaling can also be powerful tools during this phase. They help you process your emotions in a healthy way rather than letting them control you. When you master your inner world, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. And that makes you incredibly attractive, not just to her, but to everyone in your life. The third area to focus on is your mission and purpose. One of the most magnetic qualities a man can have is direction. A man who knows where he's going and is actively building something bigger than himself is deeply attractive. If you've been drifting or overly focused on her as your main source of happiness, now is the time to correct that imbalance. Throw yourself into your career, your studies, or your personal projects. Set ambitious goals and start working toward them every single day. Not only will this make you more successful and fulfilled, but it will also shift the dynamic between you and her. Instead of being the man who's sitting around waiting for her call, you become the man who's too busy building his empire to be consumed by someone else's silence. The fourth area is your social life. When a woman goes no contact, she secretly expects you to isolate yourself, to mope around, and to show the world how lost you are without her. By doing the opposite, you create intrigue and mystery. Spend time with friends, meet new people, try new experiences. Not only does this keep you mentally healthy, but it also demonstrates to her and to yourself that you are a man who thrives no matter what. If she hears through mutual friends or sees on social media that you're out living life, laughing and enjoying yourself, it will make her question her assumptions about you. Here's the beautiful thing about this process: even if she never comes back, you win. By focusing on growth, you're not just waiting around for her approval, you're building a better life for yourself. And if she does return, she's returning to a man who has elevated himself, a man who commands respect and admiration. Remember this: the man who sits still and waits becomes weaker. The man who uses silence as fuel for growth becomes unstoppable. So while she's silent, don't waste a single moment. Work on your body, your mind, your mission, and your social circle. Let her absence be the fire that forges you into a stronger, more powerful version of yourself. When she finally sees the new you, she won't just feel your absence, she'll fear losing you forever. When a woman goes no contact, it can feel like she's completely erased you from her world. No texts, no calls, no direct communication whatsoever. From your perspective, it might seem like she's perfectly fine without you, living her best life while you sit there wondering what went wrong. But here's the reality: most men don't realize, even when she's silent, she's almost never completely disconnected. Women are incredibly skilled at communicating indirectly, even during no contact. They often leave subtle clues about what they're feeling and whether they still care. These signs aren't always obvious, and you have to be very careful not to misinterpret them. But if you learn to spot them, they can give you valuable insight into her mindset and help you decide your next move. The first sign to look for is her activity on social media. Social media has become one of the most common ways people check in on each other without direct contact. If she's posting more often than usual, especially posts that seem oddly specific or emotional, that's a clue. For example, she might share a quote about heartbreak, strength, or moving on. She may post pictures of herself looking amazing, living life, and having fun. On the surface, it might seem like she's thriving without you, but here's what's really happening. She's trying to send you a message without breaking no contact. If she's posting things that you know are meant for you to see, it's often a sign that she's still emotionally invested. She wants you to notice. She wants to make you wonder. But here's the key: do not react. The moment you comment, or message her about it, you give her exactly what she wants: validation and confirmation that she's still on your mind. Instead, stay silent and let her sit with the uncertainty. The second sign is indirect communication through mutual friends or circles. If you share friends or move in the same social groups, pay attention to what you hear, and more importantly, how you hear it. If a mutual friend casually mentions her name, tells you something she's been doing, or drops a detail about her life, that might not be accidental. Often, women will leak information through mutual connections to see how you'll react. It's a way for her to keep tabs on you without reaching out directly. For instance, a friend might say, "Oh, I saw her at that new restaurant last weekend. She seemed happy." Or, "She asked about you the other day. Just wondering how you've been." This is not random. It's intentional. It's her way of staying connected while still technically maintaining no contact. If you notice this happening, take it as a sign she's thinking about you, but don't let it pull you into chasing her. The third sign to watch for is coincidental encounters. Sometimes women will engineer situations where you just happen to bump into each other. Maybe she shows up at your favorite coffee shop or attends an event she knows you'll be at. She might not speak to you directly, but her presence alone is a silent signal. These encounters are carefully planned. She's testing the waters to see how you'll react, whether you'll approach her, act desperate, or stay calm and composed. The way you handle these moments matters greatly. If you remain confident and unbothered, you increase her attraction and curiosity. Another subtle sign is changes in her digital behavior. Even if she's not talking to you directly, she might still be lurking in the background. Pay attention to whether she views your stories, likes old posts, or suddenly becomes active right after you post something. These little digital breadcrumbs often reveal more than words ever could. For example, if she watches your story within minutes of you posting, that's not an accident. It's deliberate. It shows she's keeping an eye on you, even while staying silent. But here's the important part. Do not overanalyze every little thing. One of the biggest mistakes men make during no contact is reading too much into random events. Not every view or mention has deep meaning. The key is to look for patterns, not isolated incidents. If you consistently see multiple signs, like her social media activity increasing, mutual friends mentioning her, coincidental encounters happening, that's a strong indication she's still thinking about you. But if you only see one small sign once, don't build a fantasy around it. Why is it so important to recognize these signs? Because when you know she's still emotionally engaged, you gain clarity and confidence. Instead of panicking and wondering if she's forgotten you, you can remain calm and patient, knowing that the connection isn't completely gone. However, here's the trap. Even when you see the signs, do not break no contact first. Your silence is powerful. It keeps the dynamic in your favor. If you reach out prematurely, you risk undoing all the progress you've made. Let her be the one to break the silence. Let her curiosity grow. Let her wonder what you're thinking, how you're feeling, why you haven't chased her. The longer she sits in that uncertainty, the stronger her desire to reach out becomes. Remember, no contact isn't about ignoring her. It's about shifting the balance of power back to you. By quietly observing the hidden signs while maintaining your composure, you stay in control of the situation. She may be silent, but if you pay attention, her actions will reveal the truth that she's still thinking about you, missing you, and trying to figure out what's going on inside your mind. And when that happens, it's only a matter of time before she's the one reaching out first. When a woman goes no contact, there often comes a moment when she finally breaks the silence. It might happen suddenly without warning, or it may come in small, subtle steps. Perhaps she sends you a simple text like, "Hey, how have you been?" Or she reacts to one of your posts. Maybe she even calls you directly after weeks or months of nothing. This is a critical moment, the turning point. How you handle this interaction can either reignite her attraction and respect for you or completely destroy it. Many men fail here because they let their emotions take over. After weeks of waiting, hoping, and wondering, they explode with excitement the moment she reaches out. They respond too quickly, too eagerly, or too emotionally. They pour out their feelings, write long paragraphs, or immediately try to set up a meeting. This might feel natural in the moment, but to her, it screams desperation. It tells her that despite all your silence and supposed strength, you are secretly waiting by the phone the entire time. The result: she instantly loses respect. That's why you must approach this situation with calmness and composure. Your mindset should be, "It's nice to hear from you, but my life has been full and amazing without you. I'm not here to convince you to stay. You have to earn my attention again." The first rule when she reaches out is simple. Don't rush to respond. If she sends a message, don't reply immediately. Give it some time, not to play games, but to show that you're not sitting around waiting for her, whether it's 10 minutes, a few hours, or even longer. The delay communicates that you have a life and priorities beyond her. Think about it. If she's been silent for days or weeks, there's no reason for you to jump the second she gives you attention. Your measured response sets the tone for everything that follows. The second rule is to keep your reply short, positive, and controlled. When she finally breaks the silence, your goal is to stay cool and confident. If she texts, don't pour out your emotions or bring up the past. A simple, calm response like, "Hey, I've been doing well. Hope you're good too," is enough at first. Why does this work? Because it creates curiosity and tension. She expected you to be overly eager or to demand answers, but instead you gave her calmness and mystery. That unexpected reaction makes her wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Has he moved on? Does he still care? And those questions are what pull her back toward you. The third rule: do not bring up the no contact period yourself. If she disappeared for weeks, you might feel tempted to ask, "Why did you stop talking to me?" Or, "Where have you been?" Don't do it. Bringing up the silence directly makes you look emotional and reactive. Instead, let her be the one to explain. If she chooses to open up about why she went silent, listen calmly and without judgment. Don't interrupt. Don't get defensive. Just listen and respond with strength. The more composed you are, the more she'll realize that you're not the same man she left behind. The fourth rule is don't immediately jump back into a relationship dynamic. Even if you want her back badly, don't act like nothing happened. She needs to feel that she has to earn her place in your life again. This doesn't mean you punish her or play hard to get. It simply means you maintain healthy boundaries. For example, if she wants to meet up, don't drop everything to accommodate her schedule. Suggest a time that works for you. If she tries to pick up exactly where you left off, slow things down. Make her show through consistent action that she's serious about reconnecting. Here's why this is so powerful. People value what they have to work for. If you make it too easy for her to come back, she'll take you for granted again. But if she senses that you're not desperate, that you've grown stronger and more independent during the no contact period, her respect and attraction will skyrocket. Finally, remember this: silence was your greatest weapon before she reached out. Calm confidence is your greatest weapon now. Don't undo all the progress you made by letting emotions take over in this crucial moment. She broke the silence because she felt your absence and missed what you brought to her life. Now, your job is to show her through your behavior that you are a man of strength, value, and self-respect. If you stay patient, measured, and confident, she will not only regret pulling away, but also feel grateful that she still has a chance to be part of your world. Let her feel that reconnecting with you is a privilege, not a right. That's how you regain control, and that's how you ensure she never forgets the man you've become.